Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to the Her Soulful Success podcast. I am Diana Ricciotti, certified coach of NLP, certified timeline therapy practitioner, business mentor, and the girl who went from corporate climbing to solopreneur, replacing her full-time income working part-time hours in her business while juggling mum life. But you, my friend, can call me D, because I know quite literally that we're going to become business besties. This space is for you to escape into, away from the crazy hustle in your business and life, to get your weekly mindset fix, your business boost, your realignment with the highest and best version of yourself, and your dose of self-development. All ingredients that I believe for a soulfully successful business where abundance and fulfillment go hand in hand. Whether you're doing the 9-to-5 grind and dreaming about there being something more out there for you, whether you're wanting to explode your side hustle, or you are already a business owner feeling maybe a little lost, stuck, or overwhelmed, this podcast is designed to speak to your soul. So without further ado, let's jump into this week's podcast and level up your mindset so that you can begin living your best life. Hey business bestie, and welcome to episode 19 of the Her Soulful Success podcast. I'm your host Diana, and I have yet another awesome guest on the show for you today. Her name is Lindsay Schroeder, and she is a spiritual wellness, intuitive business and mindset coach with the company that she has founded, Our and Are. And this name has a little quite beautiful story behind it. She supports soulprenuers and spiritually curious beings develop their intuition, reprogram their subconscious, connect with their energy systems, and up-level their lives and businesses. Lindsay is a Reiki master, light worker, intuitive healer, and a passionate divine feminine practitioner. Her services are often described as, without words, transformative, and what she would say her favorite, like being on a spiritual drug. I love that one. Lindsay is a gifted intuitive channel and energy worker. She has cultivated a practice all of her own. Her comprehensive approach to business, wellness, and spiritual connection includes coaching, sound healing, mindset, lunar phases, which we're going to get into today, embodiment, limiting beliefs, manifestation, EFT, NLP, crystals, healing circles, guided meditations, rituals, ceremonies, and so much more. This woman has an amazing toolbox that she uses to heal her clients. In healing her own deep wounds, she found that she longed to share the practices, tools, and techniques that helped her release her own childhood trauma, work through past relationship patterns, develop deep self-awareness, self-confidence, and self-love. She is passionate about helping others become the conscious creators of their lives, which I am too, just so freaking passionate about. Her approach to business is a marriage of the spiritual, energetic, and practical, and this allows Lindsay to create her unique business, and clients achieve businesses that really reflect who they are and their truest desires. You guys are going to just be obsessed with this conversation and her energy. So without further ado, let's jump into today's episode. And welcome, Lindsay, to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you on today. How are you going?
Oh, I'm having such a lovely day. This is the perfect way to close it out. I'm so excited to be here with you guys.
Oh, me too. Because I interview guests from all around the world, I always like to ask, where are we speaking to you from today? What time of the day in the world is it for you?
I am connecting from Chicago, and it's about 9:30 p.m. by me.
Wow. Oh, it's very late for me. That time I always tell my guests I am usually well asleep by 9:30. So thank you so much for staying up with us tonight. I am really, really keen to get started and get talking about a lot of exciting topics with you. But before we jump in, I really love to give my guests an opportunity to just share a little bit about their story, what they do in their business. So could you tell us a little bit more about yourself, Lindsay?
Of course. So my name is Lindsay Schroeder. I'm a spiritual wellness, intuitive business, and mindset coach with the company that I founded, Our and Are. I really focus on supporting soulprenuers in developing their intuition. I do a lot of work with reprogramming the subconscious, working with shifting limiting beliefs, and doing all that inner work that allows us to achieve the external reality and bring in all of our desires into our 3D experience. I am so obsessed and in love with woo-woo and spirituality as it benefits us both personally in our personal practice as well as in our business. I really find that marrying the practical and the energetic, bringing those two things together in this extremely aligned way has allowed me to not only grow and scale my own heart-centered business, but support so many soulful entrepreneurs and elevating into the business that they really desire, creating it in a way that feels so good for us, and then allowing that abundance, those soulmate clients, those amazing opportunities to just flow in instead of forcing and pushing and hustling.
Yeah, I love that. I'm all about the flow and the pull in business. There is nothing worse than having to feel like every day you're getting up and you're doing the hard grind and the push and the hard sell and the DMs. So I'm really keen to get your ideas and your inspiration behind this. Can you tell me a little bit about your name? It's so interesting that your business name, more specifically, Ow and Ah. What's behind that?
So first and foremost, I love the fact that it's basically like a little mini meditation. It's not a name that you can rush through. It's not one that you can say extremely quickly. When you say hour and R, you have to slow down. You have to allow the cadence to spread out a little bit more. And it's just taking that extra moment, that extra bit of intentionality. It kind of calls to that. And it's representative of we are divine feminine and our divine feminine. So bringing in the collective, the fact that we all have these beautiful energies to us, regardless of how we identify. We have the power to step into the flow, every single one of us, and then really bringing in the idea of community. And those are two of the main pillars that I built my business on, and I really love that they reflect in the name itself.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And I just actually had this thought where I was reading your name, even prior to the podcast. Every single time I read the name of your business, it does make you stop. And it makes you, just in that moment, you're so right. It makes me mindful and read it, really read it. And then actually think, like, I had some idea of the meanings maybe behind the words, and how I interpret it is very similar to what you explained. But, yeah, wow, that's really, really smart. I love that. I want to know, Lindsay, a little bit about your story. I love going back, any business owners, it really fascinates me, and I know it does my audience, where your journey really began, how long you've been in business for, and what your journey's really been like.
I've been coaching full-time for about 3 years now, and I've been offering spiritual or woo-woo or wellness or energetic services for about 10 years. I found this line of work through my own love and kind of falling in love with things like meditation and sound therapy and healing in all different forms, because I had a lot of crap that I carried with me after childhood. I had a lot of childhood trauma that was really affecting me into my adult years. And when I finally got to go to college and kind of separate from the places and the spaces that were really difficult to deal with at a young age, I had to grow up really quickly. My parents went through a really, really nasty divorce. It actually took them 5 years to get divorced. And so I've seen every mediator and therapist and this and that, and was like, really raising my sister from a very young age. And as soon as I got to college and kind of got to be on my own, I got to dive into things that really worked for me. I grew up Catholic, and the Catholic Church does not fit me very well. I am both pansexual or omnisexual and polyamorous, and so that definitely did not fit. I've been the black sheep of my family for pretty much right from the start. And so finding these things spoke to my heart in a way that nothing had before. And for many, many years, it was really just for myself. I was absorbing and taking these things in, reading the books, taking the courses, doing the classes, all for myself. I had no intention of sharing it. Like when I first got my Reiki attunements, for instance, I got 1 and 2, and I just sat on 1 and 2 for quite a while because I didn't want to provide services. I didn't want to become a master. I didn't want to, do energy healing on other people. I felt like I had so much to deal with and heal and transmute for myself that it didn't even cross my mind to offer these things. And as soon as I rounded that corner and found things that really worked for me and changed my experience and was able to transmute intentionally, where I could see and put together what tool or what skill set allowed me to transmute that specific thing, all I wanted to do was hand it out. I wanted to stand on the side of the street corner and be like, here's meditation, and here's the crystal, and here's this, and here's that, and just hand it off to everyone, especially other women, and especially other women who had gone through something similar that I had. I just wanted to share all of these beautiful teachings and all of this wonderful magic that I found and how it helped me transform and transmute and really come into alignment with myself.
Yeah, it always really starts with your own healing, doesn't it? It's particularly for coaches. Our stories usually do start with healing ourselves, and then just from how much we grow and how much we evolve and how different we feel, we're just so freaking excited to pass on those tools. And you have acquired quite the healing toolbox, just looking at your modalities and everything that you do. How do you kind of I guess I'm even thinking of other coaches that might be listening in who have studied NLP like myself. I've seen that you've done EFT or have other more spiritual energetic modalities like Reiki or sound healing. How do you sort of package that up into a business, into products or programs? This is me putting my business hat on for the guys listening in. How does that look like for you?
My main container is one-on-one coaching, and I think because I have so many different spaces and places where I can drop into and go, okay, I'm going to pick up this tool, I'm going to use this practice, I'm going to, muscle through this thing or allow this to come through or channel this. The one-to-one container really, really serves me and my clients because I get to access all of that. I don't feel limited at all. So some of my clients experience ceremony and ritual regularly in their coaching program, and others are much more technical. Some of them, kick off every single session with some breath work or some meditation, and others we do, one call that's all about the woo-woo and one call that's all about the practicality. But I get to really follow my intuition and allow myself to open up and be a channel and share so much more than just what a course or a program has been able to offer me in my coaching practice. And I know when a lot of coaches are scaling, they start going to, group programs or digital courses or trainings in that way. And I really think that I'll be super focused on one-on-one forever because I absolutely love that flexibility. I love the fact that I can access and utilize and weave the myriad of tools that I've fallen in love with in the way that it serves that client and that situation every single session.
Yeah, I love the intuitive coaching. I love that about you. Like how I picture it is almost like you approach you come into every session and you've got these, this toolbox full of different ways that you can help the client, and just based on what they need, based on the session, you're kind of going, oh, this is what I'll be using today. This is what is required. This is what I'm going to bring out and bring forth. I absolutely love that. And what I also love about what you said is something that I'm really passionate about teaching on to any business owner, whether they're service or product-based businesses, is around sticking to and staying with what feels true to you, not just buying into the next strategy that's available online or in that next course, or following a blueprint if it doesn't feel right to you. So you're absolutely right. Usually scalable business models and growth do entail group or digital courses, or just systemizing everything and expanding it that way. But I love how for you, how you perceive success in your business is that one-on-one results that you get with a client, and that's what feels right to you, and you're okay to go against that grain and go like, okay, that's not for me. I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, being able to stay focused on that one-on-one and know that I'm building my product suite around that. It's not that I'm never going to venture into these other areas. Like I have a flagship digital course, and I launch a group coaching program sometimes once or twice or 3 times a year, and have tons of, those lower price offerings so that you can start to, dip your toe into the water of any of these different topics that I love to teach on. But I'm building my brand and my business around my zone of genius. And that's one of the things that I really love to teach and support others on, that we created these businesses to do business in a way that serves each of us. So it's not just taking that blueprint from someone else. Like I tell my clients all the time, I'm not going to give you the answer, because the answer is within you. I'll help you find and figure that out and navigate that path and listen to your intuition with more clarity, or with less sidestepping around it when you really know what it is that you want. But all of that magic is inside of you. It's for you to uncover, for you to listen to, for you to acknowledge and align with.
Yeah, so powerful. I feel like it took me a really long time to turn my intuition voice up a notch. It used to be very much a whisper that I could barely hear. And, what I took on was I always looked to experts. I always looked externally for validation, for answers in regards to my life. So from what I should do with my life career-wise, to how I should raise my kids, to what my marriage should look like, to what my life should look like, to then what my business looks like. And it wasn't until I started my business and went through this journey, which I think is definitely a spiritual one, and I talk about that all the time as well, that I started to really tune in to that little voice, that little nudge, which was my intuition, and is now that I can kind of tune into, and it is much clearer and louder. And it's allowed me to create from I guess in my own way, in my own magic, rather than sort of trying to copy somebody else's way of doing life and business. So yeah, I really love that. I know, Lindsay, that you're also really interested, and you coach on manifestation. I can see that you've got an awesome manifestation ebook. I love hearing from women who are particularly manifestation coaches, a manifestation story, like something that you have personally manifested, to really just I guess get our audience feeling a little inspired.
Oh, definitely. I will actually tell a story of my partner manifesting something.
Yes.
Because it is even more intense than mine, because I think intentional manifestation, when you know the steps, you can typically find for yourself, like, okay, here's where I'm caught up. Maybe it's in the belief, or maybe it's in the feeling of the feelings, or thinking that you're faking it, or holding too hard. But when you're watching someone else manifest, especially for those first few times, it's such a powerful experience. And anyone who follows me knows that I'm obsessed with ritual baths. Like, water amplifies my ability to channel. Pretty much every time I'm sitting in ceremony or working with plant medicines, I just want to have water included in that experience, because it amplifies all of my psychic abilities. And baths are one of the main pillars of my personal practice.
Okay,
so
before we even go into speaking about your partner's manifestation story, I want to hear a bit more about this, because I have never heard of ritual baths, and I'm sure this might be something new to my audience. So explain, please, Lindsay, what is a ritual bath, and how can we get into one today?
I have so much magic for you guys. So I actually have a ritual bath ebook too. So if anybody wants access to that, I break down all of the ingredients that I use, how I set up for a ritual bath, how I cleanse for it, how I work with them. I love these. And what I mean by a ritual bath, just like a ritual anything, you can have a ritual cup of tea. You can have a ritual before you start your work on your computer for the day. You can have a morning ritual. Ritual just allows you to take the everyday and turn it into something magical. So we all shower or take baths, we all clean ourselves, and water is such a powerful practice and conduit for me. I am a very intense fire sign, so water is just this calming, soothing, and just a very intuitive practice for me. I also spent many years very detached from my emotions. So anytime I can connect with water, it really represents my connection to my emotions. Mm-hmm. And so I regularly work with ritual baths, which means I will include specific ingredients and put them in both physically as well as energetically. That might be flowers or different essential oils. It might be different salts or baking soda or all different types of cleansing things, from dried flowers and herbs and, these little sachet bags, to putting, my 13-pound rose quartz in my bath with me. Mm-hmm. I've actually even live streamed from my ritual bath previously. I adore them. I love them. And anytime I'm attempting to manifest or step into something or embody my goddess self or integrate with guides, I work with ritual baths as a profound practice. So if anyone is interested in creating one that really serves them, creating one that's in alignment with your goals and what you're intending to put out there, my ebook goes over even the difference in the candle colors and different crystals that you can include and different oils and how to cleanse the space and set the intention. So everything from, the colors of the lights in the bathroom to what candles and what scents and what oils or different things that I put into the bath. I plan all of these and make it so beautiful and turn it from just an experience of, I'm cleaning myself, to I'm cleaning my mind, my body, my soul, and really marry the practical with the energetic, all through ritual baths.
I love this idea. I too am, I can't really explain it, but I'm very pulled to water. We live about 45 minutes, 50 minutes away from our favorite beach, and we are manifesting our beach home in the next, hopefully 5 to 10 years with my partner and my kids, because we will spend 2-3 hours driving around on the weekend just to get our butts to the beach for a few hours, because there is just nothing that brings me more peace, more calm, just quietens my mind, or even just, I can't even explain it. You know what? Even with my kids, I can't say it quietens my mind. It just gives me this kind of, just a feeling this, an energy that I can't really explain, that I just love being near it. And I guess without knowing it, I probably do have some form of ritual baths myself, because when I do have a bath, it really means a lot to me because it means no baby time. It means I chuck my candles on, I get my book, I always make myself a chamomile tea with some honey in it because it just soothes my soul. And I spend that half an hour really feeling the water, really just being mindful, I guess, and even sometimes doing a meditation. So you could probably say, without knowing, that I probably do do a ritual bath. I really love something that you said, and I'm not going to quote you directly, but you mentioned that rituals are when you take something regular or mundane and turn them into a magical moment, or really feel into the moment and make them magical somehow, or make them really special. And I think that that's just such a beautiful way of thinking of rituals, because in what I do in business coaching, we talk a lot about daily success rituals and setting your day up for success, especially if you are just starting to work for yourself. It's hard to stay motivated throughout the day without sometimes having that accountability. Planning your day, scheduling your day becomes all these things can become challenging. Then the distraction of social media or your kids and everything else in life. It's I really am big on setting yourself up for success, particularly in the morning. But I find that a lot of time when we use the word ritual or a morning ritual, it's something that can become an obligation almost, and take on a negative meaning, where clients struggle because they just don't I guess, have that excitement around doing the same thing every single day. When if you really make it about whatever it is that you do in the morning, around intentionally making you feel good, about finding that gratitude in the moment, about really just making whatever that 10 minutes of your morning really feels special and magical, however that looks like for you, I feel like that can really transform what a morning ritual would look like.
Yes, I agree. I think ritual is such a beautiful space to expand your energy and giving yourself that flexibility if it serves you. Like, if you feel boxed in by your morning ritual or your morning practice, opening yourself up. So like, maybe you want to be more flexible with the amount of time. Maybe you want to be more flexible with the different things that you might include. Like, I have one client where we made this list of all of the beautiful morning practices that she loves, and she opens that up in the morning and she selects one. And sometimes she like keeps going and moves from 1 to 2 to 3, and other times it's just a quick 5-minute practice with one of them. But she has this beautiful list of all of these things that light her up. Mm-hmm. And the first thing she does in her day is select what lights me up. Yeah. What do I enjoy? What am I excited about? And then allows herself to do that very first thing in the morning. And that sets her up for a day of choosing what lights her up and choosing what feels good and allowing that to be the governing force.
Yes. I love that. Let's move on to that story, that manifestation story. I was so excited to hear, and I interrupted you.
So my partner learned the process of manifestation, of course, just almost through osmosis, because he's hearing it all the time as I'm teaching it and speaking on it. And he will jokingly say to me all the time, "Oh, I manifested it." Kind of using it in an inappropriate way, like, "Oh, not really, buddy. Like, not exactly. That's not exactly what manifestation was." And we started to look for a new apartment, and I really dislike searching for apartments. It's really stressful for me. It's not something that I enjoy, but I'm definitely a little bit of a recovering control freak, so it's very difficult for me to fully give up a task. It's one thing to like delegate or collaborate and be supported. It's another to like give up something completely as big as where we're going to live. And he loves to search for places. So I told him, I was like, "You know what? Why don't you completely take it?" And he was like, "Yeah, I've got this." And here's me like sitting on the side, like freaking out and panicking. And one day I'm like sleeping, kind of watching TV on the couch on a Sunday, and he wakes me up and he's like, "Put your shoes on, we have to go." And I'm like, "Why? What? Like, I just want to watch Netflix." And he brings me to this apartment and tells me, "I found your bathtub." Not I found our apartment, but I found your bathtub. And we go to this place. I really think it had been on like the listing website for like 45 minutes. Like, he found it in less than an hour of it being up. And we were there within like 2 or 3 hours of it being posted. And I walked into this beautiful apartment and made my way right to the bathroom. And it's a 3-person jacuzzi bathtub in a 1-bedroom apartment in Chicago. And it has beautiful white columns and gold and white marble accents, and like, it's massive and mirrored. It makes absolutely zero sense for a 3-person jacuzzi Roman style bathtub to be in a 1-bedroom apartment in the area that we live in, and have it be like completely in our price range and so perfect for what we were looking for. And I was ready to like put down 6 months worth of rent. I like looked at the man who was renting it and I was like, "Take it off the internet." I was like, "I will go get you as much money as you want. I will sign anything that you want. Like, we can all sit here and wait as you run our credit. Like, that's my bathtub. I would like to live in there." I didn't look at the other room. I didn't care. Yeah. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. And I, to this day, still don't want to leave. Like, my partner and my sister have both told me, like, "Oh, if you guys are going to have more kids, like, you're probably going to have to move out of that apartment." And I was like, "Leave my bathtub? What do you mean?" My bathtub has been published in, like, an online wellness magazine because I, like, wrote an article on ritual baths because I'm so obsessed. And I asked them, I was like, "Oh, can I submit a picture of my own bathtub, my own bathroom?" And they were like, "Well, we really like to keep our photos, like, very professional, but, like, feel free to send it over. And, if it makes the cut, we'll put it in there. If not, we'll use some like stock photography. And I was like, oh, don't worry. And she like emailed me back as soon as she saw it. She's like, that is your bathtub, like in your apartment. And I was like, yep, I told you it was really beautiful. It is, to this day, my favorite manifestation of any manifestation besides like people. Because
it is so specific, right?
It is so specific, because that was the biggest issue with the apartments that he was showing me. I was like, but the bathtub, like I have other things that I need. Like I wanted, a dishwasher, laundry and unit. I wanted it close to like public transportation, but the bathtub was really like, I can be flexible on other things besides air conditioning. I can be flexible on other things. I'm not flexible on a stand-up only shower. Like, no. Like, I don't really take showers. I take baths. I love baths. They are my thing. And I was like, I'm not open to giving them up. And like, you could see the shift in him when he really realized that like, oh, this is the thing. And within a week or two, he had completely manifested a bathtub.
That is incredible. This is now not only your favorite manifestation story, but it's my favorite.
It's his favorite manifestation story too.
Oh my goodness. Can you tell me what is the process that because I think we've touched on what manifestation is, like breaking that down, I guess, in previous podcasts, but we've never actually spoken about what to do in order to manifest. Like, what does that process look like for you? Teach us, Lindsay. Teach us.
So manifestation, for anyone listening who might not know the definition of the word, has probably seen it on Instagram or on TikTok, but if you do not know what it is specifically, manifestation is the bringing of a desire, a dream, a goal from the ether or from energy into your physical reality. And so the process that I follow is 4 steps. The first step is identifying what it is that you desire. The second step is believing that it's possible, that you can have it, be it, do it. The third step is becoming a vibrational or an energetic match, basically feeling the feelings of having, being, doing that thing as if it's here, as if you are that right here, right now, without it being here and now. And then the fourth step is taking action. So that is a really generalized and very Cliff Notes overview, but we have to know what we desire to intentionally manifest. And so that space is really about getting clear on what it is that you want, and also starting to strip away the pieces that aren't as important. So for instance, when my clients are manifesting and they're like, I set this intention, I wanted this thing, but I got this thing. We'll look at that and I'm like, oh, but like, let's look at this. What you actually wanted was this, this, and this, which is what you received. Or what you actually believed you could have was this, this, and this. Even though you said you wanted this, for instance, if that's, oh, I want to manifest X number of clients. Maybe you're like 5, 10, 100 clients, but a part of you thinks that if you get all of those clients, you'll have to work too much. So you actually only want half of that or a quarter of that. And that's what you bring in. And you're like, oh, well, I said I wanted 100, but I only brought in 25. We have to look at all the different facets. So getting clear on what it is that you desire. I also love to recommend that we stay in the positive when we're getting clear on what we desire. So instead of, I want to eliminate debt, I want to exist in a constant state of overflow. Because anytime we're thinking and feeling about a specific thing, if that's eliminate debt, you're still bringing debt into your awareness, which means for a moment or more, you're vibrating at the frequency of debt. The more we focus on that, the more we bring that in. So if you're very clear on what you don't want, write those out, but then shift them. Okay, if I don't want debt, what is the opposition of debt? Financial flexibility, financial freedom, overflow. There's always more coming in than going out. And then align with that. Then you have to believe that it's possible. The universe cannot go against your free will. So if you say, I want my absolute soulmate, I want this deep connection of a relationship, but you don't believe it's possible, the universe cannot circumvent your belief. It cannot bring you something that you do not believe you can have or are worthy of. So really zoning in and figuring out, do I believe that this is possible? And if I don't, what can I do to get me to that that place? Is that doing some technical research? Is that some self-worth or some shadow work? Is that some inner child stuff? Is that looking at your limiting beliefs and reprogramming them, but believing that you can have, be, or do your desire? Then we must feel the feelings. And this one is the one that catches people up. A lot of my clients mention to me that they feel like they're faking it. So if you are manifesting $10,000 and you're trying to become a vibrational match for $10,000, a lot of my clients are like, I feel like I'm lying to myself if I say, oh my God, I'm so abundant. Oh my God, there's $10,000 in my bank account, this and that. Instead of faking, we really want to experience the feelings. So if you just received $10,000 deposited into your bank account through your business, through those soulmate clients, what would that feel like? That might be blissful, euphoric. That might be deep relaxation. It might be massive stress relief. It might be, oh my God, all of these different doors open up for how I can invest in myself, and truly align with that vibration and start to experience that. It's more than just painting the picture. It's truly feeling the feelings, experiencing it, becoming a vibrational match, so that we're truly the vibrational signature of having, being, or doing that. And when we vibrate at that frequency, we attract it right in and it finds its place with us. And then last but not least, we must take inspired action. We must show the universe that we mean business, that we're serious, that we believe it, that we think it's going to happen, that we know it's going to happen, so much so that we're taking steps as if it's coming to us, as if it's for us, as if it's on its way, as if it's already here. Without the action, it makes it much harder to bring that in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a missing step for a lot of people when they really think of manifestation, or maybe when they dismiss manifestation because they believe that it is this way of just thinking about something and it falling into your lap, when there is that really important element of also taking inspired action in accordance with that highest version of yourself, where you have that unwavering faith that what it is that you're manifesting is there. It's going to come to you in divine right timing. What I really love that you also mentioned is that you have to believe that it is possible. And I guess this is where both of the work that we do comes into play, and why it's important to highlight. This is where understanding your subconscious mind programming and your beliefs that make up the model of the world for you, what they are, and really unpack them and understand how you can transform them so they can be, I guess, more in alignment with what it is that you want to manifest and you desire. Because I absolutely understand and have numbers of, not even just when manifesting comes into play, but even affirmations, standing in the mirror and telling yourself you look beautiful when you don't feel beautiful or don't believe that you are beautiful does feel like a lie. It's really important to find out, go deeper, understand your beliefs. What do you make things mean about what does beauty mean to you? Why do you believe that that's beautiful? What do you want to choose to believe? Where did that come from, that initial belief that you didn't even realize that you had about beauty? Like it really does require deeper work for the manifestation process to really work for you. So to not kind of skip over that. Yeah. Yes.
And I think that's it. Clients kind of come to me from both directions, where some of my clients are like, okay, I know these limiting beliefs are standing in my way. I'm ready to do this work. And other clients come in and they're like, I'm so excited about manifestation. I'm going to call this in and this in and this in. And both of them really support the work that we do, because they both lead back to that same thing of like connecting with the truth, the core of both what we've been programmed to be and who we desire to be.
Yeah.
Because we each are the conscious creator of our own life, our own business, our own reality. It's not our fault how we were programmed, how we grew up, what we were told, what we integrated. I mean, from 0 to 7, we're basically just a sponge. We're absorbing and taking things in, and we don't really have an active role in how we're taking those things in, how we're integrating those things, and what way they are like rooting into our subconscious and into our core. But as we step into adulthood, as we become more open and more truly in control, it is our duty and our responsibility to look at that and to reprogram or reframe or realign the things that are no longer serving us or maybe never served us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my favorite thing to do is question everything. I just love, like, whenever I catch myself thinking a certain way, even having like a negative thought pattern or a story that I tell myself about whether it might be moving or how much time I have in the day. I get fascinated listening to my own stories. It's just so much fun. You guys might think I'm weird, whoever's listening in, like, that does not sound fun at all. But I love that mindfulness sort of game and really hearing my own stories, my own self-talk, and then going, hang on a minute, let me just, is that the truth? Is that the truth? Or where did I learn that? Where did I learn that I don't have enough time in the day? Where did I learn that cleaning my car is really hard work? Or where did I learn that I can't, drop my car off to be cleaned by somebody else? Yes. Very specific here, guys, but just these things that are I'm actually looking at my car outside as I'm recording this podcast, so that's the first thing that came to my head. But like, yeah, just it's incredible, and it goes deeper than that. It will then go
what is my truest truth?
Yeah, love it. Amazing, Lindsay. We're learning so much from you today. I wanted to kind of delve into one more sort of biggish topic that I wanted to cover off with you, which I know that you teach and you're passionate about, and that is lunar cycles, and how knowing and tracking lunar cycles can help us, well, one, manifest easier, I guess, and sort of feel more in flow in our business too. Could you talk to us a little bit about that?
Of course. So for today's discussion, let's focus on the two main lunar cycles and how you can work with them, that being the new moon and the full moon. And I love to start in that space because it makes it really accessible and really, easy for you to get started and dive in and start working with lunar cycles right off the bat. Mm-hmm. So during the new moon, this is a really phenomenal time for you guys to plant seeds, set intentions, really start new things. And so what I mean by setting intentions is, what would you like to come about in that next lunar cycle? What would you like to happen for your business and your personal life? And then work with that process of manifestation. Okay, can I get clear on what it is that I desire? What are the things that might be standing in the way of me believing it? Start to do that work and outline what feeling the feelings or becoming an energetic match would look like. And then allow that inspired action to flow through as the moon starts to gain, brightness and fullness. Then the cycle of the full moon is really about celebration. It is the time to reap what you sow and harvest the fruits of your labor and sit in gratitude and celebrate both the things that you've called in and where you are along this path. So I think working in lunar cycles in general takes our time frame down to, about that month's length of time. Whereas in our current society, we have a lot of focuses on, the year, our birth year, New Year's. We'll even sometimes step into, focus on quarters and, everybody's setting yearly goals. But I think breaking it down into the lunar cycles really allows you to get connected to what's going on in the everyday, and it reminds you to not only set goals for the year, but to set goals for a month, for a day, for a moment, for a specific project. And then that beautiful reminder to celebrate and to really relish the magic that is already here. Also, one of my favorite tips around working with the full moon is to express gratitude or celebrate all of the desires that you're calling in as if they're already here. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking to manifest a certain dollar amount or a partner or a specific number of clients or this type of opportunity, and the full moon is coming up, like we have a full moon coming up in just a few days, you can actually celebrate achieving that, being that, doing that as if it's here and now, on the full moon, and that will amplify the impact of your manifestation by enacting it, feeling it, experiencing it, and celebrating it as if it's here and now. You can start to paint that picture with visuals or words or vibrations and sensations, and that's a great way to also be able to manifest during the full moon cycle.
Yeah, what I really love about that too is, which of the moon cycles do we slow down and reap the rewards?
So celebration, reaping the rewards, the harvesting is the full moon. And setting intention is the new moon.
See, this is what would benefit me a lot, is to actually stop for a moment and spend a bit of time actually, I guess, recognizing and celebrating what it is that I have achieved. And I know that like-minded, ambitious business women listening into this podcast will resonate with this, where we set goals, we have milestones, but as soon as we meet them, as soon as we tick off that box, we're like, okay, great, what's the next thing?
On to the next.
What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And if you really think about it, then where does that end? And without, the lunar cycle concept, this is where my personal business name was born, because for me, success isn't something that you should have to wait 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years to feel. It is something that you should be able to, I guess, feel into now. I think you should be able to feel successful every single day of your life. And that comes down to really being able to sit in gratitude and sit in recognition and celebrate what it is that you have going for you and what you've created in your life today. So important for me. So I absolutely love that. Do you have any advice on moon trackers that you use? Do you have one yourself? Where can people learn more about this?
You guys can learn more about this from there's so many different apps that you can download that will remind you when we are in different lunar cycles. I have one that's called Moon Phases, and it just reminds me both when the new moon, when the full moon, when each of the different phases are upcoming, but then also the zodiac sign that they're in, which is an additional layer that you can bring on to working with the lunar cycles. I also really encourage women to track their fertility or track their time of the month and compare that to the lunar cycles. A lot of us will, sync our bleeding with the new moon, and that's known as like a white moon cycle, or sync up with the full moon, which is known as a red moon cycle, because as women, we also follow cycles in a very similar way. And a lot of us, even without knowing it, do sync up with the moon. And when we think about it, the moon affects the tides so much, and we are all made so much of water that the moon connects and affects us so much more than we actually recognize in daily life.
Yeah, what is the percentage? I think it's like we're 85% water or something like that.
I don't know. It's something massive like that. It's
massive. And I read this meme the other day. It was so funny. It was like, basically we're just cucumbers with anxiety.
Right. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Cucumbers with anxiety. I'm like, yep, that's us. I think that I actually have a guest coming up in the podcast. We're going to delve deeper into tracking our cycles as well, like our menstrual cycles. Yes. And, aligning even what we do in business monthly with that. Yes. Because I know, again, a topic for another day, because we could just talk for hours about this, but how much that week of my upcoming period can affect my not only life but my business is just epic. Like what I am, my ability to create, to show up online on videos, it's just all so deeply affected. So absolutely, such an interesting topic, and I love just hearing what apps our fellow entrepreneur women do use, because there are so many apps these days. It can be really confusing to know what's accurate. So I love knowing that it was Moon Phases. Is that right that you use? Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Also, partnered my business with my fertility in the sense of when I'm ovulating, and I know this happens for a lot of us, you get this intense burst of energy. And that's something that I've really allowed myself to work so deeply with, both through the practice of conscious conception of actually like creating life, but then also all of the creative endeavors in my business, I kind of like zhuzh them up during ovulation time.
Yeah.
Where I will sit down and journal and meditate and do a ritual bath, basically as an additional way to manifest or goal set or bring those desires in. And often it allows me to channel inspired action in a really easy and flowy way.
Yeah.
During the time of my ovulation, I am just on fire creatively. Yes. I can solve any problem.
So that's where you want to like batch record your podcast season. That's when you want to, you know, create that masterclass or that mastermind and write up all
my launch strategy.
Yes. Oh my God.
All of it during ovulation. And I like plan things out. I'm just like quick wireframes, quick downloads. I'll always get the name of new programs or things. Yeah. Like when I was creating my membership, I was like going back and forth with the name, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to set it aside, and the next time I'm ovulating, I'm going to do a ritual bath. I'm going to go into ceremony. And I was sitting in my ritual bath and I went, oh, duh, Waters. Yeah. And so my membership is actually called Waters the Membership, and it's about wading into the depths of your soul. And I'm like, oh, it's been here the whole time.
I've been waiting for you. Oh no, I really do think there's something in that for sure. And I think there is nothing worse than sitting down and wanting to create and be creative and just feeling like it's not happening, and you can just spend a whole day being really, really hard on yourself and feeling really deflated. So yeah, we're going to dig deeper into that a little later in our podcast season as well. But I love that you brought this up, Lindsay. Lindsay, this has been really amazing. Like, I've learned so much from you. I know that our audience members are going to want to get to know you a little more, spend a bit more time in your social media home. So tell us a little bit about where you hang out, how we can get a little bit closer to you, where we can maybe take advantage of some of the things that you have, or potentially work with you some more.
Awesome, of course. So you guys can follow me on Instagram and interact there. You guys can also find my manifestation ebook and tons of my other offerings in my link in bio. And my handle is Our and R, so OUR and DARE. I also have a private Facebook group where I offer tons of free mini trainings and bring lots of guest speakers and all different types of magic in there. And that's just facebook.com/groups/Our and R. But the number one place that I'm hanging out recently is in my membership, which is Waters. And it's a place where I get to offer ceremony and practice and ritual and experiences and community. I also offer, a Q&A coaching call every month in the membership, and a digital gathering for us to come together and sit in ceremony together, and tons of trainings and guest features. And it's the space that I really love to connect most with my community, because I make it most accessible in that space, and I'm spending the most time there. So I would love for you guys to check that out. You can use the link in my Instagram bio to learn more about that.
Absolutely. And we will make sure that we add all of the links that you've just spoken about into the show notes, guys. So don't feel like you have to scramble for your pen or your notepad there. We will make sure that's all easily accessible to you in the show notes. I have absolutely loved our conversation today, Lindsay. I hope you've enjoyed popping over on our podcast today.
So much. Thank you so much for having me. It's been so much fun. Yes, I love talking about this stuff. And I really feel like there is just so much more that we could get deeper on. So I would love to have you back, perhaps in an upcoming episode. Yes, let's bring you back. We'll delve deeper. We'll get some feedback. I would love to hear from you guys. What do you want to learn more about on a deeper level? Anything that we've spoken about with Lindsay today? Just, send me a DM, write some feedback. Don't forget to rate the podcast if you do love what you're hearing. And other than
than that, I will catch you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much, Lindsay. I hope you guys all have a beautiful, beautiful day.
Bye.
Hey business bestie, thank you so much for choosing to tune into the Her Soulful Success podcast. Don't forget to check out the show notes for all of the links, including my private Facebook group community, Passion to Profit, where I share even more free content, freebies, and live events for the ambitious business babe. If you loved what you heard today, you're going to love what I have in store for you. Everything from creating beautiful branding, money, mindset, and wealth, nutrition for optimal energy and mood, to energy healing and anxiety management. I got you. I am covering all of the things to support you on your journey to soulful success. So that you don't miss out on future episodes, don't forget to click subscribe and share the podcast with your tribe. If you share it on your socials, don't forget to tag me so that I can say hi and thank you personally.